from Deanne Adams. Hi Lee, you are right. Things are changing rapidly in our country. You can't be too careful anywhere. Do be careful as crazies watch YouTube. Those light bulbs are great. Yeah, these light bulbs really are great. I really enjoy them. I don't have any sockets to plug it into. I may actually buy one. One of you way back suggested that I do that. Just buy a little light. I could keep it in my storage, and when they go bad, I can always go to my storage and get it out and put it in here and plug it in. But I do like these. Yeah. Woo, I do like them. Okay. Well, and I will mention this morning, I kind of put one like this. It was too bright. So I kind of tucked it in the corner over here, and it was perfect. There we go. She says, I have them in my lamps at home, and when the power goes out, they stay on about 4 hours. Hopefully the power comes back on before then. That's why it's a good idea to have a power station. And I suggest if you're in a home, at least get a 2,000 watt one with a solar panel. She says, then I have been reading about some nomads quitting the road due to mechanical problems, fear, and other issues. 2 years ago, I was planning on buying a van and starting out. Now I am glad I didn't do it. I am alone also. Stay safe. Well, let's talk about this, because she's talking about mechanical problems, which I just had. If you don't have a proper mechanic, if you're traveling and you don't know how to get your van fixed, you don't know where to go to get it fixed, that's a problem. That's a big problem. I mean, how do you know who to trust? Well, what I do is I go on AAA and I look, there's on the app, you can, there's a little page that you can go on that I need repairs. And it will list all of the mechanics in that area, in that zip code area, that are certified by them, that they've registered with them. Now, here's a thought. Because I have the Platinum and I have the app, if any of you are friends with me, if you're on Facebook, you can message me on Facebook and say, can you look for somebody in this zip code area? And I will look for you and I will send you a list. Why not? I mean, I have the app, I have AAA, and if you don't have that, but I do recommend that you do get it, because you may need to tow your car to the mechanic. And I mean, a tow is very expensive. It really is. A tow is probably going to be as or more expensive than actual the yearly membership fee, right? Okay, and I will mention a part will be in on my front door where the cables for locking and for opening the door, that piece of plastic that with the hinge that you pull to open the door and you pull on that was broken. That was the part that in Flagstaff, the mechanic quoted me, like, to order that part would have been like $150. I kind of forget, but it was outrageous. I thought, oh my gosh. Well, this here at Premier Auto, where I got my car fixed, he bought it for $32. Not even going to charge me to put it in. Isn't that wonderful? So I'll have that, so I don't have to keep pulling this cable out. I know. But when I went to the mechanic and I was in Flagstaff, they quoted me to even, I think was the actuator, which, I mean, this actuator here the part only cost like $110. They were literally going to charge me, get this, $700 and some. Yes, I'm serious, $700 and some. I said, oh, please, just put the thing back on. What happened with the cable was one of the wires had bent. And when I pulled the cable, it wasn't doing anything. So they did fix that, and I had to spend $100 some for that. But I told him, just put the door back together. Just put it back together, please. I'll have to think about that, spending like almost $1,000 to get that fixed, right? So they put the part, the part back together on the door. They put that back, but then they didn't connect all of the wires. So I couldn't, when I was driving home, I couldn't move my mirror. I couldn't open up my gas can, the cap thing. Okay, so then I had to spend another half day to take it in so that they could put it on properly. This is what's going on out there, everybody. Finding a good mechanic is like finding a pot of gold. It really is. Or finding a doctor that has the key to heal your cancer or whatever. For a nomad, this is a big deal. So I can understand why you have heard of, I don't know who they are, but you have heard of some nomads actually quitting. But here's the thing. If you're going to quit doing it, that means you're going to have to get a place. You still are going to need a mechanic. I mean, okay. Next one is fear. They're quitting because of fear. Well, let me say this about that. When I lived in a house, I wasn't fear-free living in a house. In fact, living in a house, I actually had more windows and doors. I had 3 doors, front, back, and side. And I mean, anybody could have gotten into, I could be in the front room and somebody was picking the lock in the back room, right? And then you have a lot of windows that people can get into. You got you got glass cutters that they can cut out a piece of thing and then, pull it out and then unlatch it and break in. And in the night, I lived alone. And I thought about that. You wake up in the middle of the night and somebody's hovering over your bed, ready to put their hand over your mouth, right? I mean, not to scare anybody, but I do not understand where being fearful is lessened when you move into a house, unless you're moving in with somebody else or other people. Because I will be as honest as can be. I am less fearful living in my van. The only other thing that I might be fearful of is getting pulled over. Here's my thing, is getting pulled over, and they're out there. I actually had a video on that, and I got flack from it, but it's happening, folks. There are a lot of younger police officers, gung-ho. I was pulled over by a border patrol near El Paso, and believe me, he harassed me. Somebody asked me what he pulled me over for. He said there was somebody on the side of the road with their blinkers on, and you're supposed to move over. So I moved over, and then I went to get back in. But this border patrol, for almost 3-4 miles back, it was 75 miles on I-10. He was going like 60. It was freaking everybody out. He was playing games, is what he was doing. And when he pulled me over, I realized he was a gung-ho, brand new, off the rack border patrol, gung-ho. And he said that I cut somebody off, and I did not do that. I'm very careful, especially with him there. I was very careful, looked over. He was waiting. He was wanting to pull somebody over. And I was the one. I was the path of least resistance. And so he pulled me over. He held me for almost an hour, and that you're not supposed to do. I've thus found out that 30 minutes is probably the max. He wanted to tear my van apart. He wanted to. He kept asking me questions, and I was giving him answers, which thus now I found out I don't want to answer. I'm not required to answer any questions. I mean, that's in the Constitution. And there are gung-ho police out there also. he let me go. He was going to call the dogs. He thought I was some kind of coyote or whatever. And he, or mule, I guess they call them mules now. I told him, I said, I just live in my van. He'd never even heard of that. He goes, what? I never heard, what? That's weird. Yeah, I said, you've never heard of people were nomads? I mean, oh no, I've never heard of that. Well, finally I said, good, call them. But here's what I was afraid of, that he was going to plant something in my van, because he kept having his hands in my van. He made me stand way over there, and he had his hands in my van because, dummy me, I gave him permission. I said, oh yeah, you go, there's nothing in there. But then I thought, oh my gosh, what if he planted something inside my van? And here's the thing, then he let me go, and he says, well, I'll let you go on a warning. Okay. I was afraid till I got out of Texas, because the border of New Mexico wasn't too far down the road. I was going to sleep over in Las Cruces. I was afraid. Here's the thing, is I'm always thinking ahead, that he planted something. Okay, he kept getting, his hands was in my drawers, my underwear drawer, whatever. That he had planted something, and I was going to take off down the highway. And he had somebody waiting for me, maybe, a few miles away, to stop me for something. Yeah, drugs. And then what they would have done is confiscate my minivan. They would have confiscated it. I hear when they tear it apart, they're not nice about it. They just throw things out. Everything I own is in here. That's the one thing I fear. I don't so much fear it, but it's a concern that I could be stopped on the street. And things are changing a little bit, the climate is changing in America. And he would have said, well, what do you got in here? And they could, on whatever, they can fabricate whatever they want, really. But there goes my van. And it's going to be and they're going to tear this thing apart bit by bit and plant something in there. There's where my concern is. There's the only what would be close to maybe a fear. When I drive the speed limit. I'm very cautious. When I go across an intersection now, I'm looking both ways. I mean, I'm really like, okay, I got past an intersection. Because they're drunk. In Tucson, there are a lot of accidents. I will say that. And I think there's drunk drivers going on. And I think, a lot of people are drinking. And so that would probably put me out too, which would be on the mechanical side of this. And then she says other issues. Well, whatever those other issues are, I don't know what she meant by that. Am I going to quit van life? Absolutely not. I can't afford it. I can't afford to get an apartment. I really can't. I mean, I will say it. I'm one of those. I moved out when I became a nomad 7 years ago. I knew I wanted to do this. It was so exciting to me. Well, then my daughter, her husband got transferred to Cincinnati, Ohio, and they moved, and she wasn't happy going, and I was so close to her and my granddaughter and my son-in-law that I said, well, this is it. I gave my notice, but I was only paying $450 rent on my rented home, and it was a home. It was nice. And so I left that, but I can't find that again. I would never be able to find, well, I could, I can't say never, but I would have to search a long time, and I'd have to really be like, bring something to me. Okay, thank you. The way that rents are now, oh my gosh, I'm here in my van. So I'm not going to quit. If somebody was going to quit because of mechanical issues or because of fear, they probably were ready to do it anyways. That's my feeling. They were probably ready to give it up. They just were. And they probably were at that precipice where that something just kind of put them over the edge, or it was the straw that broke the camel's back. And they said, enough is enough. But here's the thing: if you're just exclusively a BLM, you're a boondocker all the way. There are nomads out there. I mean, Bob Wells is one of them. He only boondocks. He doesn't go hang out in the city like I do, but there are exclusive boondockers out there. And if they closed up all BLM, which literally could be a possibility, not right away, they'll have to do it slowly, I bet. But they could do that, because I heard that they're trying to make BLM land, make it into something else. They could actually eliminate that section, that bureau of the government, and make it something else, give it another name, and change all the rules, and give it a whole nother system, to where nobody gets on it. They're going to leave it for pristine green purposes, right? Or whatever they're underneath, what's going on under there that we don't know about, their intentions. They could easily do that. And then what are we going to do? What are they going to do? Just exclusive boondockers. So, but I could see maybe they're like, well, okay. Then I am going to buy land. But that's not always the easy road out either. You could buy land. Somebody just pulled beside me. I'm just watching her. She just left. She got out and then she left. But what could happen is you buy a piece of land and you have to literally make a road or a dirt road or something to get into that land. And what are you going to do with it once you get it there? You're going to have to build it up. And if you have the money for that, then I say go for it. But not everybody wants to do that. Not everybody does. Some of us are senior citizens, and we don't have the wherewith to do that. We don't have the knowledge. We don't have the experience. We don't have the resources. Yeah. I mean, sure, we could get some land and we could go bumpity bump into that land, and it's in the middle of another land of these parcels, and we bought that and we bumpity bump all the way through. There's no road yet, right? And we just sit out. What are we going to do? Just sit out there? I mean, you'd have to have some sort of a roof. You want to put some sort of something over you, and a covering, and then you'd want to have one good thing would do is maybe get one of those crates or those big, like a railroad car, but they're smaller, and put that out there, and you keep water in there and everything like that. Buy land and build on it. Yeah. Not everybody has the motivation to that and everything. So for me, my solution is, as you can guess, what it's going to be. Oh, my light just went out. I guess the battery went down on it. I'm going to have to get that powered back up. But one of the things that I want to do is just stay in the city. I mean, everything's right here. There are a lot of you that are telling me now. I get comment upon comment upon comment. Yeah, I love being in the city. I'm a city girl. I love the amenities in the city. Why would I want to go out in the middle of nowhere? Boondocking, unless you're with a group, it's not always, I would say, safe all the time. I mean, okay, I'm a solo traveler now. Yeah, I just travel solo. And I'm going to go travel up in Utah or whatever, and I'm going to stay out on BLM land and be out there. Really? I don't think so. Not by myself. I'm not going to do that. No. Ain't going to happen. No. But if I can find some campsites, I would, because there's going to be other people, and there's usually a camp host around. That's what I like. If I was going to be out and I wanted to do that, and I want to be out, I'm tired. To me, that's like going on vacation. It's like, okay, I'm going to go on vacation. I always said that I'm in the city, but if I want to go somewhere else and maybe hang out for a couple of days, to me, that's like, I'll just look at that like I'm going on a little vacation, right? If I wanted to go to California and see the beach, I'm going to go on vacation. That's what I'm going to do. Am I going to just stay there forever and hang out on BLM land? No, that's not what I do. As an older female, it's not what, I don't feel that's safe. I really don't think it's safe anymore. So maybe that's probably what you mean by fear. But what about the people, if that's what you fear, what about those gals and guys who are getting older and they can't afford to get a place? You know, here's the thing, the average Social Security is $1,400 a month. That's average. And I don't know, I know I'll get pushback on this one, but it's fact. It's fact. Illegals coming in, they're given $2,200 and monthly. And then thereafter monthly, that's what they're getting paid. And the senior citizens here are getting average of $1,400. Yeah, some of you have pensions, some of you don't. A lot of us don't, especially as females. We didn't work as much. And I'm not trying to, it's just a sad story. No, it is a reality. It is a reality. So, I'm not complaining because I love my life. I really do. And I'm not hurting for anything. And I'm very grateful for everything that I have. And I'm grateful for all of you. I'm grateful. But to just say, well, I'm going to go get a place, I don't think that's going to be a possibility for everybody right now. And is it any safer? Not if you're in an apartment building, because I'll tell you, you can get killed in an apartment building. And I know that for a fact. I mean, I don't know, how prevalent it is, but my aunt and uncle, this was years ago, but my aunt and uncle were killed in an apartment building. My grandmother lived there, and the guy below was harassing my grandmother. And he was a Vietnam vet who had a lot of psychological problems. And he had bought a gun that day. And the day that my aunt and my uncle went down to, and they had small children, went down, well, no, I think they were probably older teenagers by then, but they went down to talk to him. And he literally shot him point blank right out of his door. And my grandmother had to hear it. And then he just shot right up through his ceiling and almost killed my grandmother sitting in the living room. That's bad. That happened. I know. I have a video where I talk about apartments. I'm telling you what, they're not safe. Apartments are not safe. I mean, you can get, unless you're in a gated community, but can everybody afford that? I'm talking about things that the average retired person can afford. I'm talking about that. I know I've kind of gone this way and that way with this subject, but it really brought up a lot of things. If you're going to quit the nomad life, you obviously have resources. Not everybody has those resources. Not everybody does. And so we're out here surviving. And I'm surviving out here, but I'll tell you, I'm surviving very well. I really do. Honestly, I honestly am saying that I do enjoy it. I love my little clubhouse here. I really do. Somebody said, it looks like I dream of Jeannie in her bottle. I feel like I dream of Jeannie in her bottle. I do. I love it in here. When it gets really hot coming up this summer, I won't like it so much. But I'll get through it. I'll go as high as I can go elevation, and I'll get through the month and a half that I have to survive in that heat. Maybe I will go to California, but we don't know what's going to be happening this summer, do we? So, yeah, maybe I will end up, during that time, I'll end up on the Pacific coast where the cool air is coming through. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Well, this is running over. I hope this is good food for thought. I wanted to just talk to you today. I don't want to do a lot of editing today because it's Sunday. What did I do today? It seems like today was sort of like I was in a rush. I was going to take a shower, but I didn't. And maybe tonight I might go and get a shower later. And I went to, ate well, and I went to church. And it was wonderful. You know who spoke, because he is from Tucson. He spoke, is Kevin Lehman. He wrote the Birth Order book, why we do what we do, or something like that. He was the one who did all the research on birth order. It's very interesting, but he was very cool, very cool. He belongs to the church, and he spoke about encouraging children, and in families and in schools, that we need somebody to encourage us. We all need somebody in our lives, especially children, to encourage us, at least one. And the thing that got me was, he said, how many people on average do you think people said encouraged them, that they can remember and really did encourage them in their lives? And people say, 4 or 5, 1 to 2. And some people never had anybody to actually encourage them as children. So let's encourage our young ones. I don't ever like to put down our young ones. They're going through a lot right now. They don't smile as much. I've noticed that. A lot of younger people don't really, they seem to be worried. They don't seem as friendly. I think they're kind of fearful. I think COVID kind of did it to them. And I've heard that COVID kind of did it to the really young also, when they closed down the schools. It made them very fearful. So we really do need to encourage each other. Let's all be an encouragement. And I want to encourage you that if you cannot afford your rent anymore, or if you are fearful of what's going on, look up, first of all, and find yourself a van or a minivan or an SUV that you can get going in the nomad life if you have to. If you, it's not a bad life. And I don't feel unsafe. Where I park at night, I don't feel unsafe. I really don't. I feel as safe as somebody living in a house or more. So there you go. I love you guys very much. Go to minivanlee.com if you want neck gaiters, jewelry, exercise videos, and most important for me is, it's always important to go if you want to purchase something, because it helps support me. But a gift, just an out gift, even if it's $5, $10, I've got different amounts. If you want to support me, if you can afford that and support me, maybe if you do it maybe once a month, or somebody does it here and then a couple other people do it here, it really does help me out, and it keeps me going and keeps these videos going. So okay, till tomorrow, I'll have another subject. I've got a lot of questions. I've got a lot of letters, emails that you sent me, and you want to know these things. And it gives me an idea of what you want to talk about. And I think these are all very important subjects to talk about right now, especially for the older age group. But why would I say that? It's for younger people too. They can't afford rent any more than us older people can. Right? Okay, till tomorrow. I love you guys very much. See ya.